having a teenager and a newborn at the same time has got to be like a wild time as a parent.
We'll see.
Because those are supposedly like the hardest. Yeah. Hello, welcome back to Big Mood, everybody. We are in a brand new set.
Yeah.
Missing one of our core members.
Yeah.
Who is here? I'm Nikki.
I'm Tiff.
And Jess.
And we are missing Gina Cochina.
Yeah.
We are missing her even though we are filming in her house.
Yeah. She's like in the next room, honestly.
After Jess and I both flew in from other states last night.
Yep.
We came to the set, and like 5 minutes before we showed up, which none of us got a text for, or we just didn't know, we found out that Gina got a text saying that someone she worked with had tested positive for Omicron. And so we were like, okay, what do we do? And she's just been quarantining.
Yeah.
In her
like,
own room.
In her own room.
In her
she hasn't
house.
come here.
Across the hall.
With the mask on if we do see her face.
Yeah.
And she can't get tested right now because they're all at a shortage for tests. So
Yeah.
we don't know if she has it or not.
Yeah, we
she
don't
could
know.
be completely safe and negative, but we don't know. We're not
She's
taking any
safe.
chances.
fine, but
Yeah.
we have a pregnant lady here. So
Yeah.
she's sitting out of our episode today. I actually got Omicron myself in December.
How was it? Because you haven't had any of the
I was
COVIDs.
like the person on Instagram talking about how I
I
had
saw that
COVID
meme.
for 2 years.
Did you feel left out? Did you feel kind of left
No,
out?
I was like, I'm better than all of y'all.
superior.
You're
the chosen one.
I am the chosen one. I have superior genes. My Pfizer, it expired exactly as the CDC said it would, and I immediately got Omicron, like on my 7th month at post vaccination. So I was like, shit. I was kind of getting to the point where I was like, do they even know what they're talking about? I don't know if they even know what they're talking about. And then, I was like, I'm not going to get boosted. If Omicron is lighter, I'll just get it naturally. And then I was honestly very much regretting it as I was sick for those 2 weeks. So don't recommend doing that. I would recommend getting a booster
The universe
shot.
was like, careful what you wish for.
I was like,
Yeah.
you think you're strong, bitch. You're about to cry for 2 weeks. But yeah, no, I'm fully recovered now. I'm on like day 20 and my sense of smell came back. I'm still coughing a little bit, still sniffling a little bit, but my energy's back.
Good.
I don't think I have the brain fog, but you don't really know when you're
Yeah.
kind of slow or dumb, so we'll see.
I
you'll
honestly,
know.
I feel like having COVID last year, or I guess 2 years ago now, because it's now 2022.
Before it even was COVID.
No, that was 2019, but
Yeah, you had that one too, right?
yeah, but 2020 was now 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there was in 2019 before it was officially announced, all of JK got it, including
Not
Manta,
me.
and except for Jess.
Because I am superior.
And Steve thought he was gonna die. Like
Yeah.
everyone thought they were gonna die. It was like crazy, and it
I was
wasn't
writing
even
my will.
around yet.
I'm
Like,
like,
we didn't
Isaac's
even know
gonna be
about
left
COVID.
without a mother.
Yeah. And then we got diagnosed for bronchitis. I had a fever for like a week and a half. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts. And then we got diagnosed for bronchitis. But then 2020, a year later, we got officially diagnosed with COVID, round 2. And then 2021, I guess I skipped it. I thought I got Omicron after I closed on the house in Vegas, but I tested
was
and it
that
was
like
negative.
in November or something?
Yeah, it was right before
that was like, I
Thanksgiving.
don't think it was really spreading quite then.
Yeah,
don't
but I was in airports. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but I had all the symptoms, I felt like, but yeah, I tested negative. I just was really,
The
really
tests
sick.
aren't fucking working though. to
Yeah, I
be
don't
honest. The rapid test is bad.
Yeah, because you said you tested like
I
3
tested. I had
times.
2 false negatives
Or twice?
before I got a positive. Once my sense of smell left
away.
me, I was like, "This is it! Like you fucking
Don't tell me I don't have it. I would have
don't fucking gaslight me. I know that I have it now."
They're like, fine, you can come in the club.
Yeah. I was like, I just need to be validated. My experience needs to be validated. Stop telling me I don't have COVID.
But the brain fog thing, I think that was a real thing because I would just full on space out on words mid-sentence. Like I knew what I was trying to tell you it was. I just could not have the English
I am
word
superior
for it.
because I don't think I've had that.
And then, but now every time I get that, I'm like, it was COVID. It was a COVID after effect. It's a lingering, it's long COVID. It's not my
You'll
fault.
never have
Yeah.
brain fog because of you.
It's not because of my intelligence.
Never.
Yeah.
It's long COVID.
It's not because you don't know the word for that thing. It's just
Yeah. I have a vast vocabulary. It's just long COVID, you know?
yeah. You just
I love
can't
if you
reach
said,
it anymore.
I have a big vocabulary.
yeah.
I have a big big vocabulary.
Huge one.
It's very big and it's big.
Well, I mean, I don't know. So I'm looking forward to this very short honeymoon period of not worrying about anything. I'm gonna fucking go balls to the wall in the bars.
Oh my God.
I'll probably catch the flu or something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Corona.
But you know,
Other diseases are like, oh, yo, we
Yeah, yeah,
exist.
yeah. I'm just gonna go collect them all. I'm gonna get herpes. I'm just gonna go collect anything I can.
You're
put
like
my immune system
licking
to the-
urinals.
Yeah,
Ew.
yeah. I'm like,
There's another
I'm
one
tired of being
called-
trapped.
I think there's a new variant.
Oh,
There's
Flurona.
no, it's that one, but another one. It's called
Oh.
like IHU or something. And I saw it on Instagram. Someone commented like, "Damn, now it's the I hate you virus variant." Where it's like, what the fuck?
Is that the one from France?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Or it's a
But
joke,
it's just
maybe.
like there's just so many variants that like what happened to the regular flu? Like I don't know.
It's still
Now
going
it's
around
like
because
flu
people
Rona.
are getting the flu and corona at the same
Yeah.
time.
What?
Yeah.
You can get them at the
You
same
can get
time?
yeah, you can get a number of diseases at
Yeah.
the same
a
time.
flu orgy? Like a,
Yeah. You could get all kinds of stuff. I got, you know,
gosh.
honestly, with the amount of people I've slept with, I probably got a lot of things floating in my body too. So
a cocktail of
I got
viruses.
a cocktail of all kinds of people's bacteria in my body.
Gross.
Jesus.
Just kidding.
Don't move to Texas, y'all.
Don't move to Austin.
Yeah.
I'll get you.
Texas and Florida.
Yeah.
Just stay away. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So true.
Move to Vegas because it's really safe.
Sure, Vegas is the clean place.
That's
to
where all the
move
Texans
to.
and Floridians come to.
All the Californians went
That
to
is a
Vegas.
melting pot.
We got a lot of New Yorkers in Texas, actually. I would think they would all go to Florida, but we did. I think we got half and half. Like California and New York are coming to Austin. I met a lot of people from
Oh,
New York.
yeah. Oh, there's definitely a lot of Californians that moved to Vegas, but tourist-wise, I was like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Texans and Floridians.
For
and
sure.
People that
all the
don't care about
degenerates.
travel.
Yeah.
And they're like, but where can we travel cheaply?
Yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
It's
Well,
nice.
what else is new?
I freaking love living in Vegas, though. It's
Your
honestly,
house is insane. I haven't seen it in person, but just the pictures and the videos. Like I watched.
Yeah, it
I,
looks
I
so
feel like a
nice.
stalker now because I watched your vlog, like the first decorated.
oh yeah,
house
the
tour.
like the empty house tour.
Empty house
yeah.
tour, yeah. And then I'm just like the videos that you sent me and us in the group chat and stuff. I'm
Yeah,
like, Jesus.
honestly, like I walk around it and I'm like, this is my dream house, and
Yeah.
I don't know how to process it
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
just too much of a good thing. Where I'm like, I visualized something like this for so
Yeah.
long,
Now
like
you have it,
over
girl.
a year, and I'm like, I can't believe
Do
I
you worry
live
about
here.
losing it? Because I feel like when I get something
try
that
not
I
to,
really,
yeah.
really love, I
Deep
get
down-
so scared.
Yeah.
Deep down, I think
get
that's what it
depressed.
is.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to think that way because those are like intrusive thoughts, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't want to be a
Manifest
self-fulfilling
that.
prophecy.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, it's incredible. The house itself, every room I go into, I'm like, oh my God, I love this room. Oh my God, I love
It's
this
the
room.
windows.
Every
Yeah.
And
every
the height,
view.
the ceilings and
Yes.
the windows make
And the view.
room.
You have a view
Yeah,
of
the
the lake.
view and like, the view of the lakes, and then the view of the trees. There's so many different types of trees, and then there's just they're all the Spanish tiling rooftops. It really feels like California.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the nicest neighborhood I've ever been to in California. But somehow I can afford to live there
Yeah.
in Vegas. And then I also think about how we almost didn't make an offer on that house.
And I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, no,
I was the
Jess
reason
was
why
the one
I pushed you to do
that
it.
was like, why the fuck aren't you making this offer? I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know. The floors aren't exactly like what.
I was like, bitch, look at this house. And she goes, look at this Harley Davidson inspired house. And I was like, ew.
I think it was maybe self-sabotage. Like I
Yeah.
didn't feel like I deserved
deserve
something
it.
that
Yeah,
nice.
probably.
And so I was like, there's gotta be something wrong with it. Like, and
You're like, I don't know if my energy is aligning to this house. I'm
Yeah.
like, bitch, yeah, just get the fucking house.
I was like, it's also Mercury retrograde. I
Yeah.
really shouldn't sign anything in Mercury
No,
retrograde.
you in
God.
particular should though.
Yeah.
Because you were born during a Mercury retrograde.
This is true.
It's
I'm
supposed
special.
to be good for you.
I'm born during a
It worked.
retrograde.
It worked.
It's true. Yeah. And we bought our condo during retrograde too. And I loved our condo. And that was the other thing too, is I wasn't sure if I was emotionally ready to like let go of our condo. And then I saw that place and I was like, I'm in love. Like, I'm just like, this
Yeah.
was my soulmate house. And then walking around the neighborhood, there's like all these little like peaceful lake areas that are really private because you have to have a key to get in, and you can only be a resident to be there. And they have like benches on the water, and then ducks swim up to you, and like
like a
bunnies are
fairy
hopping
tale.
by, and I'm
The
like,
fuck?
where am I? And there's like a kayaker.
Oh,
that
you
just
know,
goes by.
you didn't know, like, we actually all died last year.
Yeah.
This isn't
is
real.
the afterlife.
Yeah.
This is the simulation.
This is the simulation has started. Yeah.
Wonderful. I
Yeah.
like the simulation
Yeah.
a lot.
That's what they want you to feel
You
happy.
got the premium package.
Yeah.
It does on like when I'm trying to process it, I was trying to tell Steve like last year I had this. Have you guys seen the movie Office Space? It's kind of old now.
Yeah.
No.
It's been
Okay,
a while.
but you guys are in the age range. Well, Tiff's not in the age range.
Yeah.
But Office Space, for those of you who haven't seen it, rent it. It's a good movie.
Rent it, bitch.
Go to Blockbuster.
Stop showing me our age. I say our because we are like the same age.
Make sure to
can rent
rewind
things.
before you watch it.
You can rent on Amazon Prime. I'm young. I'm hip. Well, they're in the movie. The whole premise is this guy, the main guy. He is mid hypnosis because like he's getting hypnotized so he can quit smoking or something. I can't remember why he was getting hypnotized, but the hypnotist dies in the middle, and this happens in the beginning of the movie, so not a spoiler, but he dies in the middle of the hypnosis, and so the guy's like permanently hypnotized, and he just realizes how much he doesn't give a shit about anything, and he's going to his office every day, and he's like, why do I give a shit about any of this? So he just starts doing
me, actually.
and so he just starts doing the things he wants to do. Like he just does like, what do I really want to do? And that fucking happened to me last year. I think I just was like, what is this? Like we're in like
what are
some
we even
weird
doing?
thing. And I just stopped. I'm like, what's real? It kind of just went like that. And then I was like, what if we just did like what we want to do, and it feels good. And I think it like led to this, like, how am I living this like dream life place? And I don't know. I'm still processing it because it feels like I'm retired. Like I wake up and I like what I do for work, and then after work I go play poker, and then I like meditate on a lake, and there's bunnies, and
that's awesome.
I really like it a lot.
You needed that after the last couple years that you had were a little difficult, so.
And for like a chronic workaholic, like I really just didn't think I would be able to not work. Like I like to work so much, but it also stresses me out a lot. And I just felt like if I ever stop working, I just don't know who I am. Like I just don't have an identity if I don't.
Do you feel like you found
working.
a balance now with work, or do you feel like you're able to like tip even heavier on the other opposite end?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And I think I'm getting closer and closer to it. It's not like I don't give a shit about anything. I do give a shit about everything. And I gave a shit too much about everything. And now there's this balance where it's like, no, you can give a shit and also enjoy life. Like you can have that balance of just finding joy in all the things. Like not like I have to get this done, but like, oh, I get to get this done. Oh, I actually like getting this done. I forgot why I did it in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like the ideal mentality, right? That you get to reframe how your perspective on life, where it's like, I don't have to do these things. I get to do these things.
Yeah.
That's totally something I'm trying to work towards. Like just like in general, you know, like mentality wise, it's like being more grateful.
Yeah.
Especially like in preparation for birth and like learning everything that I'm learning about, like in order to have like a euphoric natural birth, you really have
euphoric?
Yeah, like you really
That's a thing?
You really have to start from a place of gratitude. Yeah, it's a thing.
Wait, so the pain will turn to like euphoria?
Yeah, like they call it the birth high that I've actually been learning about recently, where it's so fucking fascinating. I was telling Nikki about this last night, but there's like so when you have endorphins in your body, endorphins are natural pain blockers.
Right.
So you can actually go through labor without feeling pain. And you can actually feel...
Because your body kicks in to cover it when it's too much?
Like the endorphins end up blocking like anguish or whatever, like pain, because at that point you're not experiencing it. Because if you're coming from a place of gratitude and like openness and like happiness and just like euphoria feeling, like you won't feel like the opposite of that is being tense, being scared, being in pain. Right. And just being like bracing for every contraction, like just being in a really bad mental space like that. That's really what culturally we've been fed that labor is. Like, oh my God, the woman screaming, she's in so much pain, like the kid's ripping her apart. Like, this is horrible. That's why women are so scared to give birth, because that's what we've been fed culturally. And also that's because of the fact that that's been fed to us with the media, with other people's stories. And the reason why other people have these stories is because like it's just
they're bracing for it,
self-perpetuating.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're bracing for it. You're really tense. You're not prepared. You're not happy. You're not in a good place. And when that happens, like you're blocking all those good hormones that make it a euphoric experience. So
I can imagine kind of what you're saying a little bit, because I've seen a video of a water birth online, like between, it was like a husband, a wife, and a doula or something were the only ones there, and she was giving birth in her tub.
Or a midwife probably.
Or midwife, I don't know what it is, but yeah, and it seemed very almost romantic and like sensual, but not like in a sexy way, but it was just like you could see that he was so involved with her, like he was on the same like energy vibe as her, and like she was going through it, but she felt so, it looked like she felt so like released even before the baby had come out. She was already kind of like, she had released some sort of energy, and it seemed very serene and sensual and like just very beautiful. And I'm like, that raw. Seems like raw, but like she was in pain, but then like he was able to comfort her so much, and then like just the whole energy in the room was just so relaxed.
It's like having that safety.
So I'm like, I could see that, but that's not what I normally think of when I think of giving birth.
Exactly.
And I'm like, how did they create that space?
So in order to even obtain that, and that's like the work that like I'm really doing right now to prepare for labor, is detaching myself from that fear and like from other people's stories. And because this is my first attempt at a natural birth, like my previous birth was a C-section, and that was like in a sense kind of like traumatic. Like, you know, surgery can be traumatic, and also not wanting to have that surgery. And finding out that I was going to get it, like, it wasn't a choice of mine. So that really like made me feel what's the opposite of empowered? Whatever that is.
Weak.
Like
I have a very vast vocabulary. Weak.
Disempowered. I don't know.
Disempowered.
Not empowered.
So
if you don't know, just put a dis or a non in front. Unempowered.
Unempowered. So I really, so even like having all that in my own personal experience in my past, like, and like just how I didn't have a great time at the hospital, and like how I've learned about how the hospital procedures really set you up for intervention after intervention after intervention that leads you to C-section. And then just like finding out about in the US having like, out of all the first world countries, we have the highest maternal and infant mortality rate because of like the practices, and like how there's just like hospitals view patients, all patients, and even pregnant women, as like, oh, there's a problem, we need to fix it, like there needs to be a solution. But if you're perfectly healthy, and that's great if you are in an emergency and you need a hospital, like that's perfect, that's exactly what they're trained for. But if you're not at a high risk, like you're not a high risk pregnancy, there's no complications with your actual pregnancy, then, or like even during your labor, there's no reason to need so many interventions and be like, I need to fix you, you're a problem, you know? And then that's what ends up happening.
There doesn't need to be that urgency.
Where
like,
it's like, exactly, it doesn't need to be an emergency. Like, it's just like, let like the physiological process of birth happen. Just like when you take a shit, like do people tell you, like if people tell you, you need to take a shit right now, you need to push really hard and get that shit out.
Then you create like those hemorrhoids. And then, guess what? We have a solution for your hemorrhoids now.
Exactly.
It's like,
that's exactly.
More hands off.
It's exactly the way I see hospital birth now. And I just...
Well, it's kind of like factory farming for babies, right? Like they just do whatever they got to do to get it out.
Okay, we're on a schedule. We're going to induce you because now you're at 40 weeks, even though there's no medical reason to induce you. It's just that I'm about to go on vacation. Like, you know, things like that.
When you said factory farming for babies, I pictured like exactly the whole process of them like getting the baby out, and then they start milking her. like I got to go home.
You're like, all right, you get the milk. Not even, they'll give formula. Like they won't even respect.
Dude, I keep seeing commercials that are like lawsuits for hospitals using the wrong baby formula or something.
What?
Like they're like, did you use such and such? Did your baby get this formula while in the hospital? Call us, we can sue. And I'm like, oh shit, like don't give your baby formula. I don't know, maybe you're not in the first week or something. I don't know.
You know, I've talked about
if you can, I don't know how. If you can, I don't know how that works.
Yeah, like I've talked about my distaste for hospitals in my vlogs, and people get offended because they're like, well, you know, that was your experience. It's like, yeah, exactly, I'm talking about my experience. Like, I guess I don't emphasize this enough when I'm talking about it in my vlogs, but it's like, if it's for you and you feel safer at a hospital, go for it, because that's the whole point, is like, as you're giving birth, like you need to feel safe, protected, and in a good environment in order for your body to even like be like, oh, body, like, okay, we're good, we're safe, baby could come out, cool, let's get this baby out. Because if you're not, like, in a hospital setting, there's bright lights, there's constantly people checking, like, vaginal checks.
There's also a ton of sick people in hospitals, and it's like very creepy, kind of.
Yeah, and just like that constant interruption, and it interrupts the natural physiological process of birth. And so that's why they'll end up having like delayed labor, or like they'll end up having to use forceps or a balloon or something to get the kid out because your body's shutting down. And like there's just so many things that can be completely avoidable if the system was more respectful of the natural process of birth. And like that's really what I'm learning a lot right now. And yeah, like there's just so much that I've been absorbing, and I'm just really looking forward to giving birth and having this experience, because like they really say it's like a rite of passage for a woman to like experience a completely natural, uninhibited
So you're not
birth.
doing the epidural or anything like that?
Well, so I'm giving birth at a birth center,
Okay.
and they don't offer epidural there, but they do offer laughing gas if I really wanted some sort of pain relief. But that's what water is there for. Like water is a natural pain reliever, and also like breath work, and like just doing a lot of like mental internal work to trust my body and not have any fear. And like
I
just,
mean, hundreds of years women didn't have anything, so
yeah, exactly.
it's possible. Certainly possible.
Yeah, and so like the notion that like our bodies need help to give birth is
a little weird,
completely false. Like
no other species of animal needs help.
Yeah, we were designed perfectly. Like we were designed perfectly to give birth, and there's no reason for us to ever fear that our bodies can't do it. As soon as we get that tiny little like inception of doubt, that's when our bodies shut down. We're like, oh shit, yeah, you're right, we can't do it.
Yeah, it's almost a little bit placebo. It's like if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And
right.
Kind of
exactly
creates that.
When it comes to looking good, Stitch Fix has got you covered. Say goodbye to endless browsing and hello to fresh picks curated for your taste and size. Whether you need a date night dress or cozy loungewear, Stitch Fix can help refresh your look. You can schedule a fix, and a stylist will send you 5 pieces that fit your style, size, and price range with no subscription required. Keep what you like and return the rest. Or if you like to shop but don't want to endlessly browse, then check out Stitch Fix Freestyle. It's an online shop built just for you. It's like having your very own clothing store. To get started, take a style quiz so Stitch Fix can learn your preferences, from your favorite colors to preferred fits and price ranges. It's the easiest way to get items that are just right for you from brands you know and trust, like Madewell and Sanctuary. It's time to get looks that are so you. Get started today by filling out your free style quiz at stitchfix.com/bigmood and take advantage of free shipping and returns. That's stitchfix.com/bigmood to try Stitch Fix. stitchfix.com/bigmood.
And when we were talking about mindset and mentality, a lot of your fitness and health goals have a lot to do with your mindset. If you think in your head like you can't do it, or like you're weak, or you can't go to the gym, or you're not going to be able to do that many sit-ups or whatever, then you can't. It really does affect what your physical body is capable of. So with Noom, they really do focus on this psychology-based approach to help people with their health and fitness goals, as well as their relationship with food. It's totally different from all the other programs I've ever tried, and it teaches you how to be just more mindful of the way that you eat, and give you the skills and knowledge that you need to build those like long-lasting positive habits. So it's not just like a crash diet where you're like, I'm giving up carbs for a month. It's like a long, how do you integrate this is my new lifestyle, and this is just what I do. I just am healthy. I just do healthy things. I form healthy habits, and breaking those old habits. And you know, it's hard to break the habits that you don't even know you have. Like, so a lot of these are just like, we've had them for so long, they're ingrained. Like for me, when I was first trying Noom, I didn't realize that I snack when I have anxiety. Like I don't snack when, like, cause I want to snack cause I'm hungry. I only snack when I'm like stressed out, or
I only
like
eat brownies at midnight.
That's
I had to stop.
That's definitely
I didn't even
a habit to
realize
break.
it. It was like a comfort
How do you
blanket.
just have brownies on hand?
Well, you know, if you order
have to
from
prepare for
Domino's,
that.
you can get a whole
True,
pizza-sized
those
brownies.
Don't talk about that.
cookie
We're trying to
brownies.
break those habits.
I know.
Another reason is not having the temptation there to begin with.
Yeah. So I have to stop ordering large things.
Yeah, what puts it in your
Brownies.
brain like I need to order this right now?
Yeah.
Break
Stop
that
it.
habit.
Stop it.
Yeah. Also social situations, because I get some social anxiety. I would always have to have either a drink in my hand or a food in my hand or something like that I'm ingesting just to take away from like my brain focusing on how many people I'm interacting with. I feel like it's very helpful for integrating, and they'll give you different tools to do that. They also have different like exercises and stuff that you can do, and it's only 10 minutes a day. It fits into everyone's lifestyle on your own terms. No grueling early mornings or large chunks out of your day. You know how like sometimes like I gotta go to the gym, but man, it's gonna be like half an hour to get ready and then driving there and then parking and then doing the workout and then the after. No, 10 minutes a day. You got this. Start building better habits for healthier long-term results. Sign up for your trial today at Noom. That's noom.com/bigmood. That's noom.com/bigmood to sign up for your trial today. Yay. So I'm really interested in this whole the natural birth thing. My sister-in-law, I was telling you, she's on her third child that she's done this water birthing way, and she goes to a center, and she's super, super pro this way of doing things. And
that's awesome.
She's been trying to tell everybody about it. Whereas like my other sister-in-law, Steve's biological sister, is the opposite. She's very, when you're like, if it's for you, it's for you. My other sister-in-law is a vet. So she's a PhD. She's trained in the medical field. And so she's very like, I only feel comfortable at hospitals. And she actually had hemorrhaging her first birth. And she strongly feels that if she wasn't in the hospital, that it could have gone a different way. Yeah, because she was losing so much blood and they had to fix it within 5 minutes. And so I get both sides. Like it's a scary thing. Either way, you have to feel really comfortable because
that's the key.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law that had the hemorrhaging, that happened before the other sister-in-law had her first child. So I was asking her, I was like, are you still planning on doing like a natural birth? Because like this really scary thing happened. Like we were all praying for her and everything. Scary. And the second sister-in-law was like, no, I just, in my heart, like this is for me. Whatever happens, but I really truly feel like either way, I want to do it this way. And
also,
good for you.
Tiff has always been like very okay with dying.
True.
I'm not afraid at all.
Tiff's not afraid of, the Reaper.
That's
so
funny.
she's like, she wants to go out her own way, so if it's meant to happen, I feel like you're okay with it.
That definitely helps as part of it, the fact that I'm okay with it. But also like Casey and I, we took this birth course. It's like an online birth course from this chick that I follow on Instagram, and highly recommend it. It's called Pain Free Birth is her Instagram account. And that's where I learned a lot of this stuff where I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like we're fed so many lies like culturally about birthing and stuff. But anyway, in this course, the very first thing that she unpacks is like what's in your bag, like your bag of fears around birth. And like, let's like write it out. Like she had me do like a whole list of all my fears that I'm worried about with birth. And she's like, okay, now like take those fears and realize like that's not your story. That doesn't have to continue to be your story if it was in your past, and it doesn't have to be your story if it's someone else's that you're carrying inside your bag. And so you just let it go. You go like, that's I forgot her phrase, but it's something about like, well, that was their story, but it's not going to be mine. Yeah. And like you just detach yourself from it. And it's like, that's really where it starts. It's like your mental preparation to not be afraid is the biggest key. And if you're going to be afraid, giving birth at home or giving birth at a birth center or anywhere else that's not a hospital, then the hospital's for you. Like go to the hospital. It's going to make you feel better.
Where your anxiety is guiding you, like in this direction or this direction. Like you seem to have more anxiety being in a hospital setting.
That is my story. My story is I want everything in my power to stay out of a hospital. Like I really do not want to go there.
And also that's your truth and that's your choice. That doesn't mean that that's a general truth. So I don't understand why people would be upset by your own
People get really attached to their beliefs as if it's part of their identity. And when you have an opposing belief, even if it's true to you, it's like somehow an attack on them. And they probably don't even know consciously why they feel so offended. But it really is, and this is for every subject, like when you have a belief that you've attached to your identity is when you start like getting super defensive if people have another opinion. Yeah. And so it's important to check yourself. If that's something that you've been judging other people on lately just because they have a different opinion than you, it's probably something to do with you
for sure
attaching your identity to that belief.
That's true. But yeah, and like the craziest thing though about this whole thing about me preparing for birth and stuff is the fact that I started off my pregnancy with going to a doctor, like my regular doctor, my OB that I would go get my pap smears with every couple years or whatever. That's where I started my pregnancy. And then I started asking her questions after learning a lot from that Instagram account. And I'm like, oh yeah, I should ask my doctor, like, what are her thoughts on this? Like, what is her C-section rate? And like, how many checks is she gonna give me? Like, am I gonna have a fetal monitor on me? Am I gonna be able to move? Like all these like things that I wanted to know about the birth. So I started asking her these questions, and it was just like red flag after red flag after red flag, where like she got defensive every time I asked her something. She's like, you don't have to be here if you don't want to. I'm like, girl, I'm not even attacking you. Yeah, I was just like, it's a genuine question. Like, what is your C-section rate? And she was like, I don't know. It's like whatever the hospitals is. Like, I don't really know. I'm like, you don't know how many C-sections you've done in this past month? And she goes, yeah, no, it's the hospital standard. Like whatever that is. I'm like, all right, I'm out of here.
She got scared to answer those questions.
She got really I was really nervous and like I said, really defensive. And also the way she even came into where it's like, oh my God, I can't wait. Next week I'm going on vacation. And like, she's just really like,
not really.
Where I was like, this is a different doctor that I knew during my checkups. Like before, like she gave me vibes that she really cared. Like she was really like.
Before you were pregnant?
Yeah, before I was pregnant. Okay. Like really like invested in listening to my questions and answering them like thoroughly, like completely different care that I got. But then once I got pregnant, like she switched her tune and I was like, okay, I'm out of here. Like, I don't want to do this.
Maybe it didn't have anything to do with that. Maybe it just like, I feel like a lot of medical professionals now too are starting to get exhausted.
Probably.
And just like, because then they have like people fighting, vaccines. Like there's all kinds of stuff that they're fighting with people constantly. Reasons. Yeah. So maybe it's not like you or like your pregnancy.
I'm not even saying that either.
Yeah, but you just in general wouldn't want to be taken care of by someone.
It's just her mindset towards her job maybe is not like in a place that makes you feel comfortable right now.
Yeah. And then so this particular clinic though too, like every time we'd go, like I'd be there like earlier than my call, like appointment time, like 10 minutes, not call time, like earlier than my appointment time, like 10 minutes before my appointment time or whatever, or sometimes like on my appointment time, and they still make me wait a whole hour before seeing the doctor. So I'm like, this office is a mess. Like it's just a lot of things, right? Anyway, that was my experience in the beginning of this pregnancy. So I switched over to a birth center. And this birth center, I had been having an eye on since like 2017. I'm like, this is where I want to go. Like once we start getting pregnant, because around that time was when we got married. And I was like, oh yeah, like next year we're going to start trying to get pregnant. Like where do I want to, I definitely don't want to give birth at a hospital. Even back then I already knew. And so I found this birth center and I'm like, cool, it's in Pasadena. Like I definitely want to birth here. After my OB, I switch over. I'm there for 2 months. And then they send an email and they say, we're shutting down in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, within 2 weeks, you need to find another care provider because we're literally shutting down our entire business. Where I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, that was really stressful. And luckily, like I'm still like, I still have a lot of time. So I just felt so bad for the parents that like were even like closer to their due date. Because they were like, there's these rumors about how like the business side of that birth center got really shady. Like, I don't know. There's rumors that they pretty much puts like the husband of the wife of the owner, whatever, is a lawyer and like put things into place to like make sure that the clients don't get their full money back. And that's a fact because out of the money that we were giving payments because it's like one full fee for this birth center. We were giving payments. And like I said, I only went there for 2 months. And that amount of money that I gave, we only got like a tiny bit back. And like they charged us like so much per visit where I'm like, this is shady as hell. So dealing with that whole birth center thing, I'm like, oh my God, I have like 2 months before I give birth.
Is that really any different from the scam that the medical system is though? I mean, it's like $30,000 for you to be in the hospital for a day or something to give a baby. It's like, come on, wild. What is costing $30,000?
Yeah,
even with insurance.
Yeah, with insurance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's all a scam.
Yeah, so that other birth center, going there, I was already like, even though I really wanted to come here, they weren't going to let me give birth at the birth center because I'm having a VBAC, which is called a vaginal birth after cesarean. So like I'm considered like a little bit more high risk because like there's literally a 1% chance of my scar bursting open, like, and then causing crazy complications. And So that's the reason why like some places would be like, oh no, you should just not give birth here. Like you're not the best candidate. So that was the case with this
Just
other
for
birth center.
legal liability reasons.
Yeah, they were going to have me birth. Like I was getting my care with the midwife at the birth center, but to birth, I was going to still have to birth at a hospital. And I was really bummed about that because I'm like, I really didn't want to birth at a hospital, but at least it'll be under midwife care. Like maybe I can like still try to implement things that I would like either at home or at the birth center, like low lights or whatever it is. So anyway, so then that birth center shutting down was actually a blessing in disguise, because then luckily they sent us a list of providers that would be willing to take patients from or clients from that birth center. So I found this other birth center, and this one is like the gold standard, like so much better than the one that I was previously with. Like going to these midwives, like they made me feel so like whole, like a whole person, like a whole patient. Like
They actually treated you like
they treated me
an
with
individual human being.
Yeah, like with so much respect too, which like this might sound excessive, but every time before she touched me, she was like, I'm gonna touch you, is that okay? Like she asked me for every time, and I'm like, oh my God, that made a big impact on me, because I'm like,
you're not treated like cattle.
Yeah, like to be treated with respect. I don't know, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm gonna touch you, is that okay?
Yeah, like I didn't even cry when I talked about this before, but yeah, like
Do you feel like you've never really gotten that level of respect?
no, not in like as a patient. Ugh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, you got a lot of hormones. You're allowed to cry.
Yeah.
We're gonna blame the hormones.
If you didn't cry, I would wonder if the baby was healthy. Because there
what
wouldn't
kind
be
of
enough
sociopath?
chemicals in there.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. I can't believe I'm crying.
It makes sense
Yeah.
though, because like when you've experienced kind of a cold and traumatic feeling from a hospital, and then to go into something that's kind of like a hospital, but to get that level of personal attention,
And to be told like you don't have to be here if you don't want to, and
yeah,
to
that's
is
insane. Because
quite a jump.
your old OB was in the same office as my old OB,
Yeah.
but I had a male, and he was always very sweet and kind to me. So I was like, maybe try my doctor. But you're like, I'm already sick of this office. So I was like, all right,
I'm like, I don't wanna go to that office.
I won't.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the trauma that I've had comes from the experience of me giving birth to Isaac, because I was 17 back then too. Like they didn't respect me. Like
Of
they didn't,
course not.
They
Yeah.
didn't listen to me. I kept telling them, I'm like, I think my baby's breached, and they wouldn't listen until I finally asked for an ultrasound. And the only reason why I got that ultrasound was because Isaac's aunt was the medical assistant to my OB.
Oh,
It was
geez.
literally like the stars had to align for us to find out that he was breached, and that's what led to the C-section. So yeah, like I definitely don't ever like, I had never felt respected as a patient. Yeah, going to this birth center, it just, yeah, like I'm really happy that I get to be with these
I'm
midwives.
glad you found that place.
and
Yeah,
I'll be
me
able
too.
to birth there too. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I'm so
and-
happy for you. Yeah,
Thanks.
because it feels like you found the match. You know, like
And it was
Or you
scary
can.
too. Even after I got like trying to get into this new birth center, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if they're going to take me, because they only take a certain amount of patients, just so they don't have like an overflow or whatever. So
Yeah.
they can care
So
for
they can
each
do their
person.
job.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, fuck, like, I don't know if they'll even accept me. Finally, we got accepted, and I had a nightmare. Like after getting accepted, after going to my first appointment, like, okay, cool. Like I'm safe. Here we go. That night, or like in that week, I had a nightmare that my midwife like changed her tune, and she started being mean to me, and like she just started to like change things, and like was being so rude and disrespectful. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? And then like the owner of the birth center was like, hey, I'm sorry, like, you know, you're gonna have to find somewhere else. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh, you're so
Did you wake
worried.
up crying?
I almost did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I almost did. I didn't. I was crying in my dream, but
Yeah.
not in real life.
That's so funny. Like that same shit. I wonder if it just, you know, because they say your dreams are your biggest fears and anxieties, or like your wishes and wants. When Steve and I first started dating, and I was like, I really think this guy's my soulmate, and he was like the best fucking ever. I would have nightmares of him just like being cold and mean all of a sudden, and him like going back to his ex, or like him being like, what, I don't love you, like I don't even care about you, like, and just being so mean.
Yeah.
And I would wake up crying, like, because I thought I found like the perfect person.
Yeah.
And then I think, and then you found the perfect thing, and
Yeah.
you're dreaming about her being like, no, you're not welcome.
Yeah, so I'm like,
We don't
God
like you.
damn, why? Yeah, it's so funny.
Wow.
I guess it's like our subconscious being like, all right,
So we finally got the
this
thing
is-
we wanted.
yeah, like prepare
Please
for the
don't take
worst,
it away.
just in case.
Just like you were talking about like getting scared of losing it
Yeah.
after you find something so
Yeah.
perfect and you're like, please let me keep it.
It's almost like you don't believe that you're allowed to have it.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a whole
true.
other issue we should unpack some episode, because
Yeah.
I feel like all of us have that in a way.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
so.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, I feel happy hearing some, even though there's been struggle in your story, it's almost like you guys struggled to get pregnant for so long.
Mhm.
Like, you know, there was just a lot of issues happening. And
Yeah.
then now, like, it's finally, it's almost like it was supposed to happen the way it did. Like, you were supposed to wind up here on the day that you do.
Mhm.
And so, like, the fact that it wasn't working before, at the time, you're just like, oh, this is fucking, I don't know, you know, like, but now it's like, it kind of makes sense. Like, things maybe needed
Yeah.
the time that they
that
needed.
growth needed to happen.
Yeah.
The
Those
writers put a good
struggles.
arc in the season.
They did. They put a really good arc in that.
So we weren't sure what was going to happen.
And you
Like,
wound up at
was she
the
going to have to give
perfect-
birth in a hospital?
Yeah.
We weren't sure.
And you got pushed into the gold standard place.
Yeah, I'm
At
really
the last
happy.
minute.
Now you get to have the sensual experience you always wanted in the birth center.
We're not making the birth center sexy, but we do have a sexy ad for you guys out there, you guys and gals. It's Dipsy, which is an audio app for sexy stories. I know we like to do a sexy voice, but I don't really have a sexy
Do it.
voice.
What's your? Can you try?
I can
You try.
pretend.
Commit.
But my voice is still kind of, my throat's still
Even
a little
better.
scratchy. Okay. Sometimes doing less can lead to so
Okay,
much
never mind.
more.
I regret it.
Jesus.
Oh, she was doing good.
I just wanted, no matter what
I
she was gonna do,
being
I was gonna
vulnerable.
shit on it.
I was being vulnerable. Dipsy
I love
Stories. No, okay. Dipsy Stories believes in less. I can't do it
too.
now.
I love it.
That's
You're
me
doing
too.
great.
Every time I try doing the Dipsy ad in the sexy voice, I can
Yeah.
only do like 2 sentences and that's it.
stories. It's about the it's like the inflection.
Dipsy Stories.
Yeah, there you go.
Believes in less analyzing and more feeling your feelings.
Ooh.
Less stressing and more easing into things.
Okay, now it got weird. It's someone's kink.
Less scrolling and more savoring the moment.
It got British.
You're in for a ride, okay? Less pressure and more pleasure.
Why am I in a library? I don't know what happened.
Dipsy Stories is an app full of sexy audio stories, and they now even have brand new written stories. No matter who you're into or what turns you on, Dipsy helps bring the stories to life anytime, anywhere. Just close your eyes and let yourself get lost in a world where only good things happen.
That's a drama
And
teacher.
pleasure is your only priority. Explore your fantasies in a safe, shame-free way. There are hundreds of stories to choose from, and they release new content every week, so there's always more to explore. They also have wellness sessions to help you wind down and explore, sleep sessions to help you drift off. For our listeners, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/mood. Make sure to use our code. That's 30 days full access for free when you go to Dipsy, DIPSEA, stories.com/mood. dipsystories.com/mood.
And while you're listening to these stories, you want to make sure you have a nice, healthy body to to enjoy that stuff with, and that's where Ritual comes in. So we deserve to know what we're putting in our bodies and why, especially when it comes to something that we take every single day. Gaps in the diet shouldn't be ignored because over 97% of women aged 19 to 50 are not getting enough vitamin D from their diet, and 95% are not getting their recommended daily intake of key omega-3s.
Gotta get that D.
Ritual's Essential for Women 18 and Over multivitamin was formulated by exhaustive research to help fill nutrient gaps in the diets of women ages 18 and over. It is formulated with nutrients to help support brain health, bone health, blood health, and provide antioxidant support. I personally love Ritual. I've been taking their prenatal for like over a year and a half, or maybe even 2 years now. A long time. I absolutely love it. And I've taken other prenatals in the past, and those like they're really gross, and you know like the
it's a
the
lot.
burp,
Yes.
the vitamin burp, like you could taste like the fish oil and nasty. I never once ever have gotten that with Ritual, and my pee doesn't come out bright like yellow, like my body's actually absorbing all the nutrients that Ritual has. I'm a huge fan. I love it so much that I even got vitamins for my sons, because they also have like vitamins for teens. So I'm a huge fan. I absolutely recommend Ritual. And Ritual is offering our listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Visit ritual.com/bigmood and turn healthy habits into a ritual. That's 10% off ritual.com/bigmood, ritual.com/bigmood. Yeah, so I can't believe I got emotional there, but
I'm glad you did.
yeah, like, I don't know, it really has been a journey.
It's good to recognize when good things happen too. So like, even if it makes you emotional and it's embarrassing, it's like it's
tears of relief and gratitude, and
yeah, because like even
recognize that you have that
beautiful
support.
I really love too, like how at this birth center, like the first appointment is minimum like an hour long. So we went through like my whole history, but also she really wanted to touch base on my emotional state too, like how I'm feeling about giving birth, like how I'm feeling during pregnancy, like what trauma do I have that might come up during birth, because like they really say like while you're in labor and you're giving birth, like there's a lot of things that come up. If you don't deal with it during pregnancy, like you're gonna have to deal with it then. And so yeah, like bringing up the fact that I've had past trauma, like she recommended a therapist, and like just really treating me as a whole person. So I'm like, oh my God, I love this place.
It's not just about the baby that's like in your uterus. She's like, I need to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the beauty about midwives too, that I've been learning a lot about, like their whole approach to care for like prenatal care. It really is that it's like dealing with the whole person, because they know mental, like your psychology going into birth plays a huge role. Because if you don't feel safe, if you feel like scared, or if you feel like whatever you feel, that's going to affect how you're bringing out this kid. And like it will stall labor if you're not feeling safe or whatever. So I don't know, it's been really interesting, just learning a lot and preparing myself for this big event that's going to be coming really soon, because now I'm 33 weeks.
Wow.
So 7 more weeks.
What? Oh, and by the time this comes out,
but
it'll be like,
I think this comes out in the week before I'm due.
oh my God.
So it's crazy.
Are you like, how are you feeling in general? Are you like really excited, or
I'm
like
super
really
excited?
Like, do you feel prepared?
I feel
For not just the birth, but for like the new parenthood journey.
Yeah, that part I'm unpacking still a little bit.
Yeah, one thing at a time.
Because right now I'm like, my sole focus is like preparing for birth, and like, okay, we can do this, body, we got this, you're so strong already carrying this baby, and like just doing all these things, right? So that's like been, most of my energy's been focused on the labor, like the birth, but like really thinking about like bringing in a new kid into our lives, and like getting to know this personality, and like raising a whole nother person. And
like, you got stuff to do now every minute of the day. Like, you've got someone that you have to take care of now all over again.
Like we recently had our baby shower, so like we were unpacking, like doing all the presents and stuff, and like I washed all the bottles, like washing all the blankets and everything, and I'm like figuring out where to put them, and like thinking of a system of like how to like just things and like organizing. And then me thinking like, oh my God, I'm gonna have like a kid to like do these things with, and like
that's so
and feed
fun.
And like change their diaper, and like just so many things. And then I'm thinking about all this, but a lot of it too that comes with these thoughts is like, and I'm gonna get to do that with Casey, and like I get to like show Casey a lot of the things that I've already learned that he's gonna be learning, and like doing this together, and like, and then thinking about like having Isaac around in the house, and thinking of ways of like how to make him feel involved but not overwhelmed, and like not neglected, and like yeah, there's a lot.
Having a teenager and a newborn at the same time has got to be like a wild time as a parent.
We'll see,
because those are supposedly like the hardest times.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like you are going to be on very little sleep, and then you have a teenager.
I know, he's like peak teenager right now too.
Do you think he's gonna try to get close to the baby, or do you think he's gonna do that like whatever, like it's not really my deal, I'm going to college now, like I'm not gonna
he's
get to
already
know this.
doing the latter,
like I don't give a shit about this kid.
Yeah, he's already like, yeah, I'm gonna move out.
It's your second,
like,
it's your kid now, like I'm gone, peace out.
Yeah, he really is with that attitude.
Yeah.
And
maybe he'll come back around in like 5 years once the kid is kind of has a little bit more of a personality, and he'll get closer
and
to
if
him
the kid like looks up to him, I
Yeah.
think that will change.
Hopefully they
it a
can be
little
somewhat
bit.
close in some way,
that's what I'm really hoping,
even if it's like an
too.
uncle vibe, you know.
Yeah, I'm really hoping for that, for something like some sort of like connection and or bonding, and like throughout the pregnancy, like whenever the baby's kicking or something, I'm like, oh, Isaac, let me get your hand, and he's like, okay, whatever. And then there was this one time where, I mean, I'm also like hormonal, right?
Yeah.
So we're dealing with two very hormonal people. Like there was this one day where I was just like, you know what? I gotta get this off my chest. And I'm like, Isaac, like it really hurts me that you don't really want to connect with this baby.
Yeah.
Or like it hurts my feelings that, you know, you're really avoidant or whatever. Like we had a conversation about it, and he was so sweet. He was just like, okay, Mom, I'm sorry. Like I'm gonna try. And you know, and then the next opportunity, he comes up to me and like, or he was saying goodnight that night, and he like gives me a hug, and then he goes, good night, baby, and like he tries to talk to the baby, and I'm like, you're such a good kid.
That's sweet.
Yeah, like he received what I said, and like he put it into
Usually
action.
you just have to tell people what's in your head because they don't really know.
Like what you need. Yeah.
You just tell people what you need. Yeah.
But for a 13-year-old, like that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You
oh my
responded
God.
quickly.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, yeah, I'm so proud of him.
Like instead of being like, oh, whatever. Like, why are you so upset?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so that just goes to show that you did a good job with
Yeah.
him, despite you know being like a teen mom and all the shit you were going through for that. So then imagine how good
Yeah,
of
and
a mom you'll
despite
be
his,
now that you're grown.
Yeah. Despite his teenager hormones, he still has the good upbringing in him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
What about you, Jess? What you been
crazy.
doing in Texas besides getting Omicron?
Absolutely, fuck all.
Dude, the other day we were like, okay, we're gonna have a meeting for Big Moon, and she's like, oh, I can't make it. I have a company volleyball game. I'm like, what is happening?
Company volleyball game?
Yeah,
In the winter.
yeah, it was cold as shit too. Let me tell you, I don't know whose fucking idea it was to join an outdoor sand volleyball league running from December through January.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
It's the cheapest. Your accountants, you're like, okay, this is for the budget.
no, our company's paying for it. So it doesn't matter. It's year round, so they don't expect anything to really be that cold. But it's been cold.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the fuck. But yeah, it's just this sports league that runs 24/7. Basically, there's always like a league of something. But our company, like, there's just like the sports guy, right? Like there was a guy that like played baseball in college, and so like he's the one that goes around the office like, hey, do you guys want to join a league? And like, and they had a golf one too or something, and then this guy like they won, and so it's just like something that you can brag about in the office to make the managers notice you, like, oh, you're creating team building activities. And so I'm like, I'm in one of those, you know, like I'm just doing things to like be involved,
Getting credit.
to
Getting some social credit.
extra credit.
Yeah.
You know, like that never
That's
stops.
also good for you though. Like,
Yeah,
just personally.
and also just to get, and it only takes like an hour out of my day. I go to their thing, we play like, it's like best 2 out of 3, and then the one we lost, it was fucking cold though. I mean, I was like, I don't give a shit, get me out of here. But yeah, it's really quick. It takes like an hour, but then you're like building rapport with your coworkers, and you just like get to do extra things.
You think
So,
in the
yeah.
summertime you're gonna wear those little volleyball shorts?
Well, I need to get back into the
And I'll get the
shape.
boss to notice you. I'm in the volleyball league.
No, I don't need my boss. My boss is sexualizing me.
No. You just noticing your volleyball skills.
Noticing my skills. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep me around for my skills.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, so I've just been working, and then I've been hanging out with my dad a lot. I've been going on a lot of dates that have still not really gone anywhere.
What's the Indiana Jones update?
Oh yeah, I forgot. So I haven't been here since November, right?
Yeah.
It was November when we last saw each other. So I wound up waiting like a month or something, and then I like reached out to the girl that's like the mid person that knows him or whatever, and I was like, yo, can I get his number? I'm kind of like not interested in dating him, but like we had a good night. So I kind of have room for another good night. You know what I mean? Like I realize that I really honestly don't want a relationship right now. Like I just don't, I'm just trying to get myself together still. So, but I do enjoy like going out, getting drunk, maybe dancing or doing something fun and then having sex. And then like, then I can just focus again on work on Monday. Not like, is he going to call me? Are we going to start a relationship? Is my whole life going to change? Do I need to fucking make room for this person?
It's like part of your R&R schedule. It's like,
it's like and that's when I actually enjoy men the most is when I'm drunk and we're dancing and having fun.
You're good for two things.
Having sex and having sex. And then get the fuck out of my I don't want to hear your fucking shit on a Tuesday morning. So that's kind of what's working for me right now. I've seen him like 2 more times or something, but then also like that, like long periods of time will go between us even speaking, and I'm like totally okay with it. There's not really like, we did go to a dinner. We did have dinner, and then we went out again one night and just like talking and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, there's not really like a...
Yeah, it gives him time to explore temples and find holy grails and stuff.
Yeah. He's very busy raiding
tombs.
Temples of doom. Raiding. Yeah. He's very busy with other... but no, I've been to his house. He's like remodeling a house. It's like a duplex that he's remodeling to like rent out and all this stuff. And like, he was just like, what do you think of me? Should I buy these fucking blunt? You know, like this shit. And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, let me hop on that dick, you know. Like, so yeah, I'm just... I do foresee a future. I'm like, I hope at some point I could find somebody to love and like keep them around as a companion, like 24/7. I don't necessarily want to always just be like meeting new guys or whatever. But like for now, as I'm going into, we're going to have a busy season, which means I'm going to work 55 hours a week.
Holy shit.
From January through May.
Is that including volleyball or like on top of it?
On top of volleyball.
Okay, wow.
So it's like, I know I can't give someone the time of day even really. It's like, I can see you on a Saturday night. Yeah. And then I could say goodbye to you Sunday morning, and then I have to get back to work. And that's just kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm okay with it. I feel good about that. I feel good about like just working a lot and kind of getting, because I feel like I spent a lot of my time in my last relationship supporting him and his career goals and stuff. And I was just kind of like wandering. You lost
yourself.
I kind of lost myself. I didn't really set myself up for my own future. So now I'm kind of making up for lost time. Everyone else is kind of on a I'm going to work less tip right now, which thank God. You know, applause to the rest of the world, because I think a lot of people needed that.
It's me on the lake. I'm like,
yeah. But for me, like, I feel like I had already like retired for 6 years. Yeah, you know, I had this long break, and now I'm like, I want to get
out. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah, I need to get back to work. Yeah,
back
to work. Set myself up for security. So yeah, I'm just fucking looking at Zillow every weekend. I'm like making a plan. Hopefully, by the time I come back. I think we're not filming again together, or me at least. I'm skipping. I'm going to be skipping a couple future filming episodes, but I am coming back in May, and I'm hoping by then I'll kind of have like something to say about what I'm going to be buying in Austin. So we'll see where I am with that at that point in time, because my lease is up in May. So
I think both of these things have been really good for you, because again, it's all about finding balance. You know, if you're too much one way or the other, then you're going to feel stressed and unbalanced as a person, not happy. Yeah. And I think that before, when you hadn't started work again, like a 9-to-5 schedule, and you wanted a relationship, and so there was a lot of pressure on like the next guy has to be like husband material, and it was just a lot of pressure. And so when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, now back to this like nothingness. And then friendships and social circles, everything seemed like kind of like off the table. And then now you're kind of, it's like training wheels. It's like you got integrated back into having a balanced life. You got your work going on. You got some extracurricular activities where you're socializing.
You
got extracurricular activities.
There it is.
I try to make it work, but I don't know.
Extracurriculars.
Yeah, there you go.
Got there. And then you're not putting the pressure on like the relationship aspect, and you have your own goals outside of a relationship. Is like, I'm gonna buy a house and we're
it's
gonna
really
work
healthy.
this. I think it's super healthy.
I sort of feel like I need to do everything alone and then bring someone in. I don't know why. I'm just kind of like, I really just
1000%.
I want to
That's
get
like the
my own
healthiest
spot.
route.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to get my own spot. I want to feel like totally, and I'm just so used to being alone now that I'm like imagining like having someone in my house like during the week, and in my head I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
You don't belong
can
here.
you go somewhere? Like, I don't want to do your dishes too. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, you know. So I don't know. I just kind of like the idea, and some people will probably be like, well, you know, you're gonna get old and ugly, and you can't do that forever.
Who
but I'm like,
cares? They're just projecting.
Yeah,
I'm
'cause
like,
if you're happy-
because if I have the money, I could probably keep it nice and tight and like
Yeah.
still be pulling in my 50s and 60s. So I may not even really need to go the marriage route. My cousin is the same. I have a cousin in Austin. She's in her 40s, and she's got her own house and everything and her own job, and she
Cool.
like
Do you guys hang
barbecues
out?
by herself in the backyard. Yeah,
That's cute.
she'll like have all the cousins over. I've got a lot of cousins in that age range, like the 40s age range, and then so I finally started getting invited to the little barbecues and stuff, and I'm like, this spinster life is fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's chilling, she has no fucking issues. Like,
See, that's why I don't
Yeah.
understand how people can't understand that people find happiness in different things.
Yeah.
Like maybe for some people, they really like having kids and have a family life.
Yeah.
And for other people, maybe they really
I just
like
don't know if I have the
not
personality for it.
Yeah. and how come both can't be happy? Why
Right.
why is it like you have to do it
You
the
have
way
to
that
fit in
I
a
find
box.
happiness?
Yeah.
I find happiness this way, so all people must find happiness
Once
this
I
way.
realized, so like I always heard that thing, well, what scared me the most in my life was like, I don't want to die alone, right? Like that's where I'm like,
yeah.
to a certain point I'll be cool, but then it's gonna get sad, right? You're gonna die. Then I'm like, how many women do I know that are like in their late 60s, early 70s, their husbands have already died, their kids fuck off, they don't
Yeah.
even fucking never come see them anyway, and then they're just like kind of alone trying to find social groups, or they wind up in a nursing home and they're still alone. So like having a family or a husband or something throughout your life doesn't guarantee that at the end of your life you're even gonna have shit.
That's true.
So that's not the reason to do those things. Like
Yeah.
if that's your reason to do those things, then you could wind up with nothing anyway.
Yeah.
So
You gotta
then if
find your
that was
happiness.
honestly my only reason, I was like, I need to have kids there. Someone's got to figure out what to do with me. I need to have a husband. And I'm like, that motherfucker probably gonna die of a heart attack before I do. So if that really was my only reasoning, I was like, at the end of my life, I'm worried about what that's gonna look like. But now I'm kind of like, I'll just fucking take myself out. Like, if it gets that sad, I'll just fucking go out. Like,
Yo, I believe in that. Like, that's very controversial, the planned suicide things.
That's
like,
what I'm
yeah.
thinking.
But I believe, like, if I'm at a certain age where I'm like, I don't have my mental there, I don't have my physical there.
Someone
there's
has to
no
wipe
one
my
here.
ass. Like,
Yeah. What's
they
the
made
point?
suicide pods, I think, in the Netherlands. I saw it's like you get in and then
Yeah,
you
like
just like
Futurama.
kind of wait. When you're ready, you press
They
a button
inject
and
you.
it takes out all of the oxygen and it puts all
yeah,
of
that.
nitrogen in, and then
Yeah.
you just kind of like euphoric for a minute and then you're just fucking dead.
So down.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, like we've got another 30, 40 years, so there should hopefully be like suicide
prevalent
centers, maybe.
Suicide robots.
Suicide pod centers in the
Suicide centers.
Netherlands.
Suicide
Yeah.
booth.
Suicide wellness.
And then even if it's like goop, right? So even if you like get, like for me in my life, I'm just thinking like, oh, that kind of sort of makes things like even better, because like I don't even have to worry that much about saving for retirement. Like I can just make money, kind of spend a lot of it as I go, because then like
Yeah.
what people are waiting for, people are mostly saving like $1 million
To pass it on.
or $2 million to either pass it on or stop working at some point and then have money to live on, right? But I'm like, I could just fucking ball out for the rest of my life. I don't have to give it to anyone. And then when I run out, and
Just
I'm
like,
tired
I'm
of
out,
working,
I'm 55, going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
suicide pod.
I'm like, if I'm
So
tired
young.
of working and I have no money left, I'll just fucking bounce. Like, why do I need to work?
Got a one-way ticket to the
and save all
Netherlands.
this- Yeah.
Don't call.
So that's my plan. I told my friend that's in Austin, and she was like, I don't like what you're saying to me right now. I was just like, no, this is a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm happy about my plan.
That facial expression is what made her eyes bugged out. This is a good thing.
I'm like, no, I'm actually like, because I've been depressed for a lot of like my 20s, and then like, what the fuck am I doing in my 30s? And
I like
then,
that the one thing
like,
that
then I
excites her
gotta
is
do-
death now.
It really is. No. But I mean, I'm seeing that out, like I'll be 35 in June. So I'm imagining that I have 45, 55, 65, maybe a good 30 years. Because after 70, after 70, it's questionable.
It's questionable.
My dad's 68 and he's in good health. So it's not like I'm going to be decrepit at 75. But like, I imagine there's not too much
left.
After 75 to 85 to 95, it's like, it's
like, you're
barely hanging. you're barely hanging on.
Where's
right?
that Reaper?
Yeah. I'm calling you. Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know. I am working a lot right now, but I think it's just because I want to be able to pay for a lot of shit while I'm young and alive and like.
I wonder how expensive those suicide pods are.
Well, I'm gonna
save for that.
I'm gonna save for that. Yeah,
you have to pay for
That's
your
gonna
death.
be the one thing. I'm not saving for a retirement where I'm gonna be in a boat for fucking 3 years. I'm gonna save for the suicide pod. Because it'll just be easier to go out.
On that note, we are done with this episode.
The second
Please
episode,
subscribe.
we end like
Make
this.
sure you find out what happens.
Yes.
On these titillating journeys.
Yes. Mine is still a long journey. Don't worry. I'm not trying to go right now.
You gotta watch for a long time. You gotta subscribe, be a long time subscriber. So you get the arc. Anyway, good job on the set, Tiff. And
Thanks.
so
we
go
didn't talk
check
about
out
the
the
set.
sponsors. I know, it's beautiful.
Check out their vlogs.
Yeah,
you can
thanks.
find
Tune in
their
next
vlogs.
week. We'll talk about the set. Oh yeah, cliffhangers.
Sure, yeah.
Subscribe, follow us on Instagram. We ask you for prompts, and actually one of the upcoming episodes has to do with that. So tune in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.